Is the United Nations office in New York recruiting paramilitary troops for disarmament and reintegration of U.S. civilians? No, that's not true. The claim is part of a conspricay theory that globalists are planning a takeover of America as part of the deep state war against President Trump. It purportedly would begin in Virginia with a martial law declaration and a massive confiscation of guns. However, the job posting used as evidence that the United Nations is recruiting troops for the U.S. mission is actually a posting for a managerial job working with African peacekeeping missions. Those claiming it is about the United States overlook the paragraph about Africa. The posting is not for paramilitary troops, but for an administrative position. The story originated from an article published by nationalfile.com on December 31, 2019 titled "New York UN Office Recruits Paramilitary Troops for Disarmament and Reintegration of U.S. Civilians," which opened, quote, "The job requires experience in disarmament affairs, political analysis or in national military or paramilitary service. The United Nations is now accepting job applications in New York City, New York for disarmament, demobilization, and reintegration officers to contribute to security and stability in post-conflict environments." The job listing was posted to the UN Careers homepage on December 26, and notes that female candidates are strongly encouraged to apply for this position, because the United Nations Secretariat is committed to achieving 50-50 gender balance in its staff. End quote. Users on social media only saw this title, description and thumbnail. Quote, "New York UN Office recruits paramilitary troops for disarmament and reintegration of U.S. civilians." National File. The job requires experience in disarmament affairs, political analysis or in national military or paramilitary service. End quote. The job title is listed as Disarmament, Demobilization and Reintegration Officer, P4, in the UN's Department of Peacekeeping Operations in New York, which is where the United Nations is headquartered. The job's responsibilities include, quote, "Within delegated authority, the Disarmament, Demobilization and Reintegration Officer will be responsible for the following duties: acts as a focal point for disarmament, demobilization and reintegration (DDR) components for 2 to 3 missions, responsible for planning, support to implementation and evaluation, participates in DPO and integrated task force planning meetings for the establishment of a new peacekeeping mission with a potential DDR component, provides technical assistance to peace negotiations, participates in technical assessment missions, advises, develops and reviews as appropriate initial DDR functional strategy and concept of operations for further development into a full program by the DDR component and the National DDR Commission, drafts and reviews DDR inputs to SG report, code cables, and talking points, develops initial result-based framework and budget for new DDR components in new mission, liaises with UNDP and donor community to raise voluntary contributions for DDR programs, presents and/or defends new and subsequent DDR budgetary requirements in the ACABQ and the Fifth Committee of the General Assembly, develops staffing structure and terms of reference for a DDR component, including terms of integration with other UN agencies, funds and programs, provides technical clearance for applicants to DDR units in new and ongoing missions, provides headquarters support in planning the civilian and military logistics support for DDR, continually reviews DDR program strategy and implementation through relevant documents, reports and code cables, conducts field missions to assess implementation of established DDR programs, identifies potential problems and issues to be addressed and suggests remedies to DDR units in the field, liaises with member states, UN actors and other DDR interested partners to represent the mission's DDR component at the headquarters level, establishes and maintains an outreach network with CSOs and IGOs active in the area of DDR.